Hey guys, welcome back. It is the end of kidding season, and as you can guess, we have lots and lots of goat milk. We've actually got more than we know what to do with right now, which is great. And I thought I would share one of the ways I use some of the extra goat milk up. I make something, it's a type of caramel sauce, and I found the recipe online. It's called Cajeta, which is a Mexican caramel sauce, and traditionally it is made with a cinnamon stick in it, but that doesn't sound great to me, so I make mine with vanilla, and I thought I would share with you guys today how we make that. So we're going to start with a medium-sized saucepan. I've got my cute little floury Dutch oven here, and you put 8 cups of milk into it, so that's half a gallon, and then you're going to mix in 2 cups of sugar. I use unrefined cane sugar for this part. Now this is the point where you would add the cinnamon stick or a vanilla bean. That's my favorite way to do it, is with a nice big old vanilla bean, and you would mix it in at this time. But I am fresh out of vanilla beans, so I am actually going to use just some regular old vanilla at the very end and mix that in, which is good. It's still good that way, but it is better with an actual vanilla bean. So what I'm going to do is take my wooden spoon here and kind of mix it periodically. We've got medium heat on, and we're going to just wait until it comes to a simmer, and at this point all of the sugar will be dissolved. Now, as you know, we raise Nigerian Dwarf Goats for their milk. They have sweet, sweet, creamy milk. It's really good, but right now we just have it timed to where all of our does are giving milk at the same time, and it's just more than we can drink. I mean, we're making pudding, we're eating cereal, we're drinking milk all over the place, and I'm actually going to get started with cheese making soon. But in the meantime, we need some ways to use it, and this is one of my favorite ways. Everybody loves this caramel sauce. So I am going to wait and mix until it comes to a simmer. Alright guys, it's been about 10 minutes and we are about to come to a simmer finally. The sugar is definitely all the way dissolved. We're just waiting for it to come to that simmer so we can do the next step. I did think I would mention the recipe that I'm adapting from is for a traditional Mexican cajeta, which if I can find a link to it, I will put it in the description. It says it's recommended to cook this in a traditional Mexican copper pan. So if you want to do that, that would be awesome. I don't have a copper pan as much as I would like to have one, so I'm using this pan. Any pan is fine, but traditionally that's what you would use along with a cinnamon stick. Like I said, we're doing vanilla. We like vanilla better here, and we're adapting it. Now this next step, once it finally comes to a simmer, is we are going to put in, I have a little cup right here that has a half a teaspoon of baking salt or baking soda dissolved into a tablespoon of water. And what you do is once it comes to a simmer, we're going to dump it in there. Well, first we're going to remove it from the heat. We'll dump in our baking soda mixture, and if the goat milk that you're using is acidic, it'll foam up a little bit and make it all foamy and creamy, which is kind of cool. And as a side note, you don't have to use goat milk for this. You can use fresh raw cow's milk or even grocery store milk if that's what you got. We are almost there. Making this sauce is very simple, but it is a little time consuming. So if you're only doing this, you're going to feel like you're wasting your time because you have to stand here and babysit it. But if you're already working in the kitchen and cooking other things, you know, it's definitely worthwhile. We love it. We like to put it on our pancakes. You can put it in your coffee. That's my favorite thing to do with it. You could just eat it with a spoon. You can drizzle it on top of ice cream. It is really, really good. Alright, we are finally getting some simmering action. So I'm just going to quickly turn off the heat, remove it from that burner, and we're going to dump in our lovely little baking soda mixture. Once again, that was a teaspoon of half of a teaspoon of baking soda in a tablespoon of water. And you can see it foamed a little bit. Not a lot. This batch of milk must not be that acidic. The reason you want to remove it from the heat is to prevent it from boiling over, because if you have a strong reaction with the baking soda, you could end up having it just bubble over. And that would be messy. Alright, so now, next step, we return it back to the heat. Again, you're going to put that on medium heat. And we're going to bring it to a brisk simmer and adjust your heat to allow it to maintain that brisk simmer. You don't want it boiling over, so there's a fine line between taking all day to make this and actually having it boiling over, and nobody wants that. So we need to cook it and stir it regularly until the mixture turns pale golden, which will more or less take about an hour. This is the long part, and this is why I was saying if you're doing something else in the kitchen, this is no big deal. If you're stuck in the kitchen for an hour making only this, you're going to feel like you're wasting your time. But usually when I'm making this, I'm going to go ahead and do dishes and cook something else, and I'll be doing different things, so it doesn't take a lot of time. But you'll want to stir it on a regular basis because it will stick to the bottom if you don't. And we are just going to bring it to our brisk simmer and then wait. When it starts turning a caramel brown and it starts getting a little thicker like maple syrup, then we'll want to start watching it so we know when to pull it from the heat and stop cooking. If you cook it too long, it's not bad, it'll just turn thicker and thicker. Basically, it's like making candy. You know, I've let it go too long before, and I've had it be like the consistency of peanut butter, which nobody complained about that because it's still delicious. It's just very thick, and you can't use it as a syrup if it's that thick. Now, if it does end up too thick when it's cooled, they say you can stir in a tablespoon or two of water, and it will thin out a little bit. And of course, if it's too runny, you just keep cooking it until it gets to the thickness that you want. Alright, it has been approximately 30 minutes. We're about halfway done, and as you can see, the water level, or milk level I should say, has gone down quite a bit, and it's starting to look a little tannish. So we are not there yet, but I would say we're about halfway done. You have to keep stirring it periodically. Stir it every few minutes because it will start to try to stick on the bottom. But as long as you do that, you'll be fine. So we'll give it another 20 to 30 minutes and we should have caramel sauce. Alright, it's probably been about another 20 minutes since we last checked in on it. I've been stirring it quite frequently now because as it boils down, you run the risk of having it stick a little bit more. And as you can see, now we're getting to the point where you need to turn the heat down just a little bit. The bubbles are getting shinier and glassier. They should be getting larger as well. And I am looking for something about the consistency of syrup. That's how we prefer to use it. If you want to test it, you can have a cold plate in the fridge and then just drizzle some of it onto the plate, and that will let you know how thick it is at this point. And we should be almost there. It will thicken up as it cools. Now, if you have a piece of cinnamon or a vanilla bean in there, you will probably want to use a strainer when you're pouring this into jars. However, I do not have that this time, so before I pour this into the jars, I'm just going to mix in about a tablespoon of vanilla. We'll give this just another minute or two, and depending on how thick you get it, you should end up with 3 to 4 cups of liquid. You'll want to pour it into jars. If you pour it into the jar while it's hot and you have a canning lid, it will seal. However, I do not recommend keeping it out of the refrigerator. I don't know how long it'll last that way. being a dairy product. It is recommended to keep it in the refrigerator. It should last for weeks in the refrigerator. And when you're ready to serve it, you can use it straight from the jar. You can heat it in the microwave or on the stove if you want your caramel to be warm. Alright, and obviously the longer you cook it, the deeper dark brown it'll get. Since I'm just wanting a syrup, we should be about done here. It'll be about twice that thick once it gets all the way cold. So I'm going to shut off the heat. And I'm going to mix in my vanilla. And I'm going to get ready to pour this into my jars here. I think these 2 jars will be enough. And if not, I've got a little jar there to take whatever's left. And I find this is one of my favorite ways to use up extra milk. This also makes a nice gift. So if you're looking for a gift to give to someone, let's say for Christmas or whatever, nice little jars of homemade goat milk caramel sauce are a really nice choice. People like them a lot. You can dress them up with ribbons and cute little personalized tags. It really makes a nice gift. They're also great for personal use. We'll probably go through these jars of caramel in about a week. They'll probably be gone and I'll be ready to make more. And honestly, next time I'll probably go ahead and make a double batch because I just have that much milk in my fridge that I am ready to find a use for. But anyway, here we go. We've got caramel sauce. Thanks for watching. I will put a link to the original recipe that I'm kind of playing off of in the comments, and I'll also type down written instructions in case you need to look at them. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and if you guys make it, go ahead and leave a comment and let us know how it turned out. Have a great day. Bye. What you doing, little bugger? Here's your mom. Here's your mom. Here's your mom.